G'day folks, it's Rob here, and in this week's clip we're going to do a quick whip around the backyard farm just to give you a quick update. Was planning on doing a radial flow settler clip on the Aquaponics, but yeah, things just got a little bit hectic here this week and I won't have time to get it up for this week. So yeah, I'll work on it through the week and it'll be next weekend's clip. So I'll stop nattering on, flip the camera around, and we'll start off down the back, and we'll also check out the Veggie pods, the Aquaponics, Hydroponics and the Oyster Mushrooms. So this is the small little backyard wicking garden. We'll start off here just to give you a bit of a quick look. The zucchinis are doing really well at the moment. We've got a couple of nice ones to pick for this evening's meal, and loads of small little female fruit coming on as well. Actually, was just filling these guys up. Just a quick little heads up for you folks new to gardening. Most cucurbits, zucchinis, cucumbers, those sort of things have male and female flowers. So what we need to do is get the pollen from the males down to the females down there. And you can tell the difference between the flowers because these guys are just a straight flower, and I can say guys because that's a male, while this one down here is a female because you might be able to make out the small fruit down behind the flower itself. So generally bees will come along, or some other insects. Ants are actually doing the job for us here, and they'll take the pollen from there and pop it down to the female. You can also manually pollinate if you're having pollination issues, and you can check out that little clip up there if you're interested in seeing how that's done. It's pretty basic and easy, but yeah, these guys are going pretty well, just in little wicking barrels. And on the other side here we have a couple of volunteer warrigal greens, or New Zealand spinach, and just some very small cloves of garlic that I planted out. Don't think they'll give us huge bulbs, so I popped these guys in hoping to get a load of garlic greens so we can use them in the stir fries and bits and pieces like that. I'll give you a quick look at our old lady blueberry. This is a southern hive bush variety, and she has a lot of dead wood that should be trimmed off, and I will get to that soon because she's just starting to bud up again, some very small buds. Really does need a good feed and a bit of TLC. I was hoping to get her into a new container before this round of fruit, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. This is the wicking bed that I showed in the last wicking bed build clip, and it's doing really well. A little bit of wilt from the early morning sun at the moment, but yeah, other than that, she's doing fantastically well. We have some walking onions. Actually, they're not walking onions, they're the Welsh clumping onions down the front there, and a few more over here. Another volunteer warrigal green, they're turning out to be a bit of a weed. And we have some kohlrabi on the ends there, and in the center we have 2 broccoli. And it looks like we have a volunteer tomato popping up there, and some more warrigal greens. So yeah, pretty happy with the way it's going. I'm not even filling them up once a week at the moment. It's just not hot enough, the plants aren't large enough, so they're not using a lot of water. So pretty happy with the way that's going. This bed here had a couple of casualties. We've had a caterpillar infestation, just really hard trying to find them, and that's because they go down and hide in the mulch. They do the same thing in the aquaponics, they hide in the clay, so I just come around and sort of pat down on the mulch and hopefully squish a few every now and then. I can spray the BT Nature's Way dipel as a bacteria insecticide. It gets in the caterpillar's guts and kills them that way. But yeah, I haven't been out this week, just been too busy, so I should give everything a quick spray this afternoon. By the way, the BT is safe for humans, fish, frogs, amphibians. It's just caterpillars it targets. Did lose a couple, one there and one over there to the caterpillars. Replaced this one with a bush sugar snap pea. Thank you very much, Mark, for the seedling. And another one over the back there, I replaced that one. It was hit by the caterpillars as well. And the same thing again, except that's a climbing variety from Mark. The honeypod peas haven't done too well. I think that's because when they first went in, we had over a week of 30 or above here, and yeah, they just don't like the heat. This plant in this bed has done fine, so I left it here, but the other ones that were planted in here wilted off and died. I don't know if that was because of the caterpillars eating the stems or whatever, so I did place some more peas in here from Mark, and another little bush one over there. The eggplant I transplanted from out the front has taken, so she's picking up. Hopefully we'll see a few fruit in the near future. Sorry if I'm going really quick, folks. There's just a fair bit to try and squash into our 10 minutes here. This bed here is our garlic bed. So far we've got fairly good sprouting rates. There looks to be a bit of a void of garlic in the center there. So whether I missed it or those cloves just haven't taken off, I'm not too sure. Some of the cloves were so small and tiny, they piggybacked on others. So we've got a couple where we've got a double stalk coming out. And at the front here we have some dill. This is doing a lot better than the dill in the hydro, but you'll see that in a little while. Over here we've just got some assorted root pouches sitting in trays and a lime. A bit of a bonus harvest. These trays have up the back there have just got some gingers in them, some native and the Cambodian ginger, another Cambodian ginger here, and this is our cardamom, kaffir lime, and over here is our blueberry bed. It's basically just wicking bags, root pouch bags in a tray of water, and you can see we have a load of little buds coming on, and there are a few flowers that have already formed. You can see a couple of little fruits starting to form down in there from some flowers we got earlier. There's a couple of little flowers just down in there as well. So hopefully we'll get a half decent autumn crop from the blueberries. Actually, they'll probably be ready just as winter hits. And just to let you know, folks, this whole area is still a work in progress. I need to put the shade cloth around the compost cage and set that up again and compost down some scraps. That empty wicking bed needs to be moved over here and join a few others from out the front to be set up as garden beds with some seedlings. I'll show you in a tick. These blueberries need to move, and I would like to cover up the ground. And luckily enough, a local chap, Stephen, donated 4 trailer loads of mulched fig tree. Thank you very much, Stephen, really do appreciate it. It was a Moreton Bay fig, I think, and the council wanted it removed. So I'll wheelbarrow that down here over the next week or two after I move these things and set up garden beds. And yeah, hopefully this place will look a little bit more schmicko. Now onto the veggie pods. Actually going to do an unveiling of the veggie pods today, so I'll just set up the camera. So these veggie pods are fantastic at keeping the insects out while the covers are on. I have had a few caterpillars getting in there. That's because there's a couple of gaps down the bottom where small moths are getting in, but that's no huge drama. But the one issue I do have is when you grow large plants, it's pretty hard to keep them in here. So what I've decided to do is take these covers off now, and I'm going to have to either protect them with shade cloth from the hoop house above me, try and make it insect proof, or I'm just going to have to start spraying with BT more regularly, because through our winter, which is coming up, and autumn, we do get hit by a load of the white cabbage butterfly, and yeah, their caterpillars will just decimate all the brassicas I have in here. So this is veggie pod number 1. Excuse me, Lizzie. And this is veggie pod number 2. So this bed here, to start off with, we've got a couple of beans just at the front here. There were some more up the back, but they just died off. Again, I think it was due to some heat and me forgetting to water them. But I did pop in a broccoletti, which is an heirloom broccolini, I was told. We then have some Chinese broccoli, a small patch of them. Probably needs to be thinned out a bit. Some normal broccoli, I forget the name of these guys. There was 3. In fact, I think the third one bounced back. It was actually stripped back to a small stem by a caterpillar, and I can see some more caterpillar damage. So the BT will be coming out today, and the whole lot will get a bit of a spray. Here, this poor little fella was growing up against the front, so it's growing on a weird angle. It'll just rectify itself. Some more broccoletti that got transplanted in from this patch here. As you can see, they're growing a load of greens. So these guys will definitely be used not only as a green, but also for their little florets when they form. Here we have a bit of a mix of both broccoli and beetroot, and as you can see, they are, growing out over the edge there. We've got some bent leaves and that sort of thing, so definitely better without the lid on when they get to this size. We've got some more obvious caterpillar damage here, but I'm not too sure if that's done a while back or is fairly recent. But yeah, this bed will get a bit of a spray as well. These beetroot, they were grown for leaves to begin with, but yeah, we've pretty much will just let them go now. And they are starting to form some nice little roots down there, so they'll come off soon. So yeah, pretty happy with the way these guys are going at the moment. Quick walk up to the Aquaponics. And the Aquaponics is looking very green at the moment. A load of kangkong here we need to hoe into for stir fries. Bianca and Kira have been out, and they've planted in some spring onion or shallot, depending on where you live. Starts just from bits and pieces we've bought at the supermarket. This warrigal green really does need to be taken back. It's starting to take over, and you can see the kangkong has even made its way through here. So these greens need to be taken back because we don't have a lot of fish food going into the system at the moment, and I don't want these plants robbing it all, because I've started off some other bits and pieces that was in last week's clip. We just got some corn salad there, some tatsoi, some more over there, some mushroom herb starts, some bok choy down here. Again, thank you very much to Mark for the seeds, all the seedlings, and some of his lettuce as well. And I've just been so flat out over the last couple of weeks. I have some more seedlings from him that I need to put out. Just haven't had time to set up the new garden beds out the back there. They've got to move from out the front. So yeah, but I have answered loads of comments and questions and emails though. So knocking that list down. The fish, they're probably not going to come up and say good day. They've already been fed this morning. So I'll throw a little bit of food in. We'll see if they come up. Oh, one or two are looking at it. Yeah, one or two will have a little bit of a nibble. But they had a decent feed this morning. They're still getting the 27 grams, and if they polish that all off quick smart, I am adding in a little bit more. So I only added in probably around about 3/4 what they'd normally get, because I knew I'd be filming this and hopefully get you a couple of good shots of them feeding. But yeah, so far really happy with the way they're going. The water temperature has dropped here though. We are getting around about 19 to 20 degrees in the system through the day. Don't know if you can read that. I can't see it in the phone, but it's 19 degrees Celsius. And the pH in here is slowly starting to fall as the nitrification process is stripping alkalinity from the water. So the top up water, when it goes in, is fairly high in the pH. It's 8. So that'll add some more alkalinity to the water because it's such a small system, and hopefully keep the pH balanced for a little while. But yeah, overall, can't really complain with how these guys are going. They all seem to be happy and healthy. I'll take you in and show you the mushrooms. Just to begin with, show you these spawn jars. These are the ones I made up with the sawdust, and you can see that there's a fruiting body starting in there already. This one here, a lot more colonisation on this side because I took it upstairs for a photo and left it up there in the light for a while, so I think that's caused that growth. This one here, still loads of colonisation. We'll be able to break that up and split him up into a couple of fruiting bags. I just noticed what could be a fruiting body down there as well. Yeah, so they'll still grow us loads of mushrooms, probably get about 3 bags out of each of these guys. So that's, that's on the ever-growing list for this week's work. Down here, we have our 4-tier grow tent. It's just a cheap little greenhouse or seed starting greenhouse. We're keeping the flap half closed, and whenever I walk by it during the day, I'm opening it up to give it a little bit of oxygen exchange, and then also grabbing my mister and just misting in there, trying not to hit the mushrooms themselves, pretty much all just up towards the ceiling. And as you can see, we did have a load of little pins start to terminate. They're the really dark ones. So I was concerned we weren't getting enough humidity in here because it is fairly dry here at the moment. But then I thought, well, what about the light? Because it's down here and downstairs, and the only reason it's light at the moment is because I've opened the door. But I had a feeling that maybe light was an issue as well, not so much the oxygen exchange or the moisture. So for the last 24 hours, or 36 hours now I suppose, I've had the light on down here, and as you can see we do have, if the phone will focus, there we go, we do have some healthy new pins starting to come through there. Also down the base of this cluster here, we have some nice healthy pins, and over the back, and you might be able to work out over the back on that one there. Now I've got the phone to focus, and also down the front we have some new pins. So I am hoping that it wasn't so much a humidity issue, that more a problem with not enough light, because as I said, and down here 4 times at least a day to give them a spray, open the flap and do a bit of a gas exchange. But yeah, this whole unit will actually be moving upstairs onto the deck over the weekend. We'll venture upstairs now and check out the hydroponics. So just up on the deck here, and give you a look at the hydro to begin with. We have our little sweet basil bucket. This has been harvested a fair few times. Kira's been making a lot of lasagna soup, which is a very interesting dish. So she's been using a lot of that in there, and also just tossed in salads and whatnot. And this is the other dill, the one I was telling you about down the back. Not doing very well in the hydroponics at all, the crack key bucket. As you can see, or you might be able to make out, there's a little bit of powdery mildew on there. So that plant will be coming out, and I might pop in a tomato that a mate gave me just to see how it goes. Over here, we have our bok choy, and thanks to Kate, we haven't been harvesting them in one hit, just the odd leaf here and there to throw into meals. But now I think we're going to start harvesting them whole. One reason why is, where are we? There we go, now you can see them. We have a load of aphids on there. So yeah, we might just harvest that whole thing tonight along with some kangkong from the aquaponics and just pop it in a stir fry. Those aphids will just wash off. The other issue we have had, I mentioned down the back, are the caterpillars. So you might be able to make out there's a load of caterpillars down there. Now what happens is the moth comes along and she lays a load of eggs in one place, and these little fellas come out and they decimate a plant. So this one here will be harvested tonight as well, and we'll pop that in the meal. So thank you very much, Bianca's Fingers. Next to it we have an empty tote. Now this one here, I've got some pak choi seeds. I'm going to start off directly in the tote itself, and I need to modify it first. I'm going to put another 4 holes in here, so it will end up being an 8-hole system, and I'll just have to work out something to try and cover this up, mainly because if you leave any open holes on these totes, the mosquitoes will get in and lay their wrigglers in there. This is another job that probably should have been done last week, so yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll set that up through the week and we'll get it going. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going, all except for that little dill, but you live and you learn. So for you folks who are interested in learning more about the wicking beds, there'll be a little button appearing at the end here, and also one on aquaponics for you folks interested in starting up your own aquaponics system. Click on those links and it'll take you to a playlist with a number of helpful clips in them. I would like to thank you all for coming along and sussing out the video. Special thanks really does need to go to those awesome folks over on the Farm Your Own Yard member site and also the YouTube membership program. I really do appreciate the support, folks. I think they're coming to take me away, haha. But I will pretty much all leave it there. I do hope you've enjoyed the clip and your gardens and your aquaponics are booming, and I will catch you next week with a radial flow clip. Cheers, folks.